The eviction notice is taped to my sister's apartment door like a warning sign. Third one this month. I peel it off and crumple it up before the kids see it. They're already confused enough about why we're sleeping on Aunt Paige's couch instead of in our 5-bedroom house in Naperville. Why their bedrooms got packed into boxes. Why Daddy picks them up in a new Mercedes while Mommy takes the bus. 6 months ago, I was untouchable. A stay-at-home mom in suburban Chicago with a successful husband, 3 beautiful kids, and the kind of life other women envied. I had the power, or so I thought. After all, what judge would side against a devoted mother of 3? What man would destroy his children's lives over a little indiscretion? Turns out Blake would, and he did, methodically, legally, and completely. But let me back up. Let me tell you how I went from queen of the suburbs to couch surfing with my kids. All because I was too arrogant to see the trap I was setting for myself. Blake and I met 15 years ago when we were both working at a marketing firm downtown. He was ambitious, driven, the kind of guy who stayed late perfecting presentations and still managed to remember everyone's birthday. I was good at my job, but what I was really good at was recognizing potential. Blake had it in spades. We dated for 2 years, got married, and I worked another 3 years while he climbed the corporate ladder. By the time I got pregnant with our first, Aaron, Blake was making enough that we agreed I'd stay home. It made sense. Childcare was expensive, and someone needed to manage the household. Are you sure you're okay with this? Blake had asked when I put in my notice. Your career matters too. We're building something together, I'd said, hand on my pregnant belly. This is my contribution. And for a while it was perfect. Aaron came, then Ella 2 years later, then our surprise baby Olive 3 years after that. Blake's career exploded. He made partner, then started his own consulting firm. We moved from our starter home to a beautiful colonial in Naperville. I decorated, hosted dinner parties, managed 3 kids' schedules, and told myself this was everything I'd wanted. But somewhere around year 10, the gratitude started to sour. I'd given up my career for this family. I'd sacrificed my body, my ambitions, my identity. And what did I get? Blake coming home at 8, tired from important meetings and big deals, while I'd spent my day negotiating with a toddler about wearing pants. You're so lucky, my working mom friends would say, not having to juggle a career and kids. Lucky. I wanted to scream. Try being financially dependent on someone else. Try having your biggest accomplishment of the day be successfully removing Play-Doh from the carpet. Try feeling your brain atrophy while your husband discusses international business strategies. The resentment built slowly. Blake would talk about his day, million-dollar deals, strategic partnerships, industry recognition. And I'd nod while internally cataloging how many diapers I'd changed. He'd thank me for keeping everything running smoothly, but it felt patronizing, like thanking the help. I couldn't do what I do without you, he'd say, kissing my cheek before disappearing into his home office. But what about what I could do? What about my dreams, my potential, my life beyond meal planning and laundry? Enter Garrett. Garrett was a trainer at the gym I joined to get my body back after Olive. 32, no kids, no wife, no responsibility beyond keeping himself in peak physical condition. He paid attention to me in a way Blake hadn't in years. Not just to my role as mother and household manager, but to me, Rhea, the woman I'd been before I'd become Blake's wife and the kids' mom. You're wasting yourself in the suburbs, he said one day as we cooled down after a session. A woman like you should be conquering the world, not carpooling. I have 3 kids, I reminded him. That's my world now. Is it? Or is that just what you've been told to want? The flirtation was thrilling. Someone seeing me as more than a mom, more than a wife. Someone who thought I was worth pursuing, worth risking something for. After years of being taken for granted, it was intoxicating. The physical affair started 3 months later. Afternoons when the kids were at school, sometimes evenings when Blake was traveling. I told myself I deserved this after everything I'd sacrificed. Didn't I deserve to feel desired? To have something that was just mine? I was careful, but not that careful. Maybe part of me wanted to get caught. Wanted Blake to realize he could lose me. That I had options. That I wasn't just some housewife he could ignore. He found out in the most cliché way possible. Credit card statements, hotel charges when I was supposedly at book club, purchases at lingerie stores that never made an appearance in our bedroom. Is there something you want to tell me? He asked one night after the kids were asleep, sliding the statements across the kitchen island. I could have lied, could have made up excuses. Instead, powered by wine and years of resentment, I told the truth. Yes, I'm seeing someone. The silence stretched between us. Blake's face went through several expressions: shock, hurt, anger, before settling on something I didn't expect. Calm calculation. How long? 4 months. Who? Does it matter? I suppose not. He gathered the statements, folded them neatly. I'll be sleeping in the guest room. We'll discuss this when I've processed it. That's it. I was almost disappointed. Where was the rage? The passion? You find out your wife is having an affair and you're just going to process it? What would you prefer, Ria? That I scream, throw things, beg you to choose me? He looked tired suddenly. We have 3 children sleeping upstairs. I'm not going to traumatize them because their mother decided she was bored. Bored? You think this is about boredom? Isn't it? You have everything. A beautiful home, financial security, healthy children, a husband who's faithful and provides well. What exactly were you looking for with? He gestured vaguely. Garrett. His name is Garrett. What does Garrett offer that I don't? He sees me. He values me as more than just a mother and maid. A maid? When have I ever treated you like a maid? You come home and expect dinner. You assume I'll handle everything with the kids. Because that's what we agreed to. You wanted to stay home. I supported that. If you wanted to go back to work. With what skills? It's been 10 years, Blake. My career is dead. So you decided to kill our marriage instead? The accusation stung because it was accurate, but I was too deep in my own justification to admit it. Maybe our marriage was already dead. Maybe this just exposed it. Is that what you tell yourself when you're with him? That our marriage is dead? His voice cracked slightly, the first sign of real emotion. When I kissed you goodbye this morning, was it dead? When I told you I loved you last night, was it dead then? Don't. When we made love last week, Ria, was our marriage dead then? Or did it only die when you needed an excuse? Stop it. I'm curious about the timeline. When exactly did our marriage die? Before or after you started, __ another man? The vulgarity shocked me. Blake never cursed, never lost control. But there it was, raw and ugly between us. You want to know the truth? I said, my own anger rising. It died when you stopped seeing me. When I became invisible. When the only time you touched me was when you wanted sex. That's not true. When's the last time you brought me flowers just because? When's the last time we went on a date that wasn't a corporate function where I had to smile and play the perfect wife? So you had an affair? So I found someone who makes me feel alive. Who sees me as more than Blake's wife, more than the kid's mother. Who actually wants to know my thoughts, my dreams. Your dreams? What dreams, Ria? You haven't mentioned a dream in years. You haven't talked about wanting more, wanting different. You just checked out. And instead of talking to me, you spread your legs for some gym rat who tells you what you want to hear. Don't you dare. What? Call it what it is. You're so noble, so justified. Tell me, when Garrett is inside you, do you think about our children? Do you think about the family you're destroying? Or do you just think about yourself? I slapped him hard. The sound echoed in our granite kitchen like a gunshot. Blake touched his cheek. For a moment I thought he might hit me back. Instead he smiled. A cold, calculating smile I'd never seen before. Thank you, he said quietly. That's going to be very helpful. Helpful? What are you talking about? But he was already walking away, pulling out his phone. I heard him in the hallway, voice calm and professional. Yes, I need to document a domestic incident. My wife just struck me. Yes, I'll take photos of the mark. No, I don't need police involvement at this time. Blake stood, pushed in his chair with deliberate precision. If that's how you feel, we should talk to lawyers. That's when I laughed. Actually laughed. The wine and the absurdity of it all bubbling up into genuine amusement. Lawyers? You want to divorce me? The mother of your 3 children? Good luck with that, Blake. What judge is going to side with you? What court is going to leave 3 kids with a father who works 60-hour weeks? You think this is funny? I think it's realistic. You can't divorce me. You need me. Who's going to take care of the kids? Who's going to manage the house? You can't even remember to sign permission slips without 3 reminders. I'll figure it out. No, you won't. Because you're practical above all else. And practically speaking, staying married to me is your only option. Unless you want to pay alimony and child support that'll bankrupt you. Unless you want to see your kids every other weekend. Unless you want to explain to your business partners why your perfect family fell apart. I stood up, wine making me bold, making me cruel. You know what the best part is? I don't even have to hide it anymore. Garrett makes me happy. He makes me feel things you haven't made me feel in years. And I'm going to keep seeing him. Rhea. What are you going to do, Blake? Follow me? Hire a private investigator? Waste more money trying to prove what I'm freely admitting? I am __ someone else, and there's nothing you can do about it. I moved closer, close enough to smell his cologne, close enough to see his jaw clench. You want to know the details? He's younger than you, stronger, better looking. He can go multiple times in one afternoon while you need your little blue pills just to. Stop. Keep it up. Does the truth hurt? Does it bother you knowing that another man is satisfying your wife in ways you never could? That when I moan his name? I said stop. Garrett doesn't need me to stop. Garrett likes when I'm loud, when I scratch his back, when I do things for him I'd never do for you because you never made me want to. Enough. The roar made me step back. Blake's face was red, veins visible in his neck, fists clenched at his sides. For a moment I thought I'd won. I'd broken through his calm exterior, made him feel something. Then he took a deep breath. Another. His color returned to normal. His hands relaxed. And when he looked at me again, it wasn't with rage or pain. It was with something worse, pity. You're right, he said quietly. I can't stop you from seeing him, but I can stop enabling this farce of a marriage. I can stop pretending we're a family when you've already checked out. And I can make sure our children grow up in a stable environment, even if that means it's without you. I was drunk on power, on the certainty that I held all the cards. Stay-at-home moms always won in divorce. Everyone knew that. The courts favored mothers. The system was built to protect women like me. So yes, I continued, emboldened by his silence. I'm having an affair with a man who actually appreciates me. And I'll probably keep seeing him, because what are you going to do about it? Divorce me? Please, we both know you won't. You can't. Blake stared at me for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone again, hit record. Rhea, I need you to confirm for the record what you just told me. You're having an affair with Garrett, your personal trainer, and you intend to continue this affair regardless of its impact on our marriage or our children. Is that correct? Are you seriously recording me right now? Is that correct? The wine fog lifted slightly. Something in his tone, in his methodical actions, sent a chill through me. But I was too far gone, too committed to my power play. Yes, Blake. I'm __ my trainer. Yes, I'm going to keep __ him. And yes, there's nothing you can do about it because no judge in Illinois is going to give you custody over me. Happy now? Got what you needed for your little recording. He stopped recording, saved the file, and then looked at me with those calculating eyes. One more question. The credit card charges at the Marriott, the lingerie from Victoria's Secret, the dinners at Gibson's. Should I assume those were related to your affair? Obviously. Thank you for clarifying. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Rhea? You might want to research Illinois divorce law. It's changed quite a bit in the last few years. Mothers don't automatically win anymore, especially not mothers who admit to ongoing adultery and using family money to pay for it. Then he said 5 words that, in retrospect, should have terrified me. Want to bet on that? He moved to the guest room that night. The next morning he was gone before the kids woke up. A pattern that would continue for the next 2 months as he quietly, methodically dismantled my life. I didn't notice at first. I was riding high on my perceived power, continued seeing Garrett, even got sloppier about hiding it. Why should I care? Blake couldn't do anything about it. I'd called his bluff. "You're playing with fire," my sister Paige warned when I told her about the situation. "Blake's not the kind of man you underestimate. He's a pushover. Always has been. Mr. Nice Guy who avoids conflict. There's a difference between avoiding conflict and choosing your battles. You sure you want to make this a battle?" I was sure. So sure that when Blake started working from home more, I assumed he was trying to save our marriage. When he began attending every school event, every soccer practice, every pediatrician appointment, I thought he was trying to prove he could be more present. Feeling guilty? I asked one morning as he made the kids breakfast. I was still in my robe, having come home late from Garrett's the night before. "About what?" "Neglecting your family all these years. Is this your way of making amends?" "I'm just enjoying time with my children," he said mildly. "Is that a problem?" "Of course not. I just find the timing interesting." "Do you?" I should have paid attention to the way the kids lit up when he was around. Should have noticed how he was documenting everything. Every breakfast made, every homework session supervised, every bedtime story read. Should have realized that Mr. Nice Guy had been replaced by a strategist. But I was too busy reveling in my affair, in the power I thought I wielded. Garrett made me feel 25 again, desirable, worth pursuing. After years of being invisible, I was intoxicated by the attention. "When are you leaving him?" Garrett asked one afternoon. "Leaving who?" "Your husband. You said you were getting divorced." "Eventually. When the time is right." "When is that?" "When I decide it is." Garrett didn't like that answer. But what was he going to do? I held the power in both relationships. Or so I thought. The first sign something was wrong came when Blake hired a nanny. Not full-time, just someone to help with after-school pickup and homework. "We don't need a nanny," I protested. "That's literally my job." "You seem busy lately. I thought you could use the help." "Busy with what?" He just smiled and went back to his laptop. The nanny, Marta, was a grandmother type who immediately bonded with the kids. They loved her. Started asking for her help with homework instead of mine. Then came the forensic accountant. I only found out because our joint account suddenly required dual authorization for purchases over $500. "What is this?" I demanded, showing him the bank notice. "Financial responsibility. My lawyer recommended it." "You actually hired a lawyer?" "Of course. You told me to. Remember that night you laughed at me?" "This is ridiculous, Blake. You're wasting money trying to prove a point." "Am I?" The meeting with my own lawyer was a wake-up call. Diana Sterling came highly recommended as a fierce advocate for women in divorce. She looked at my case and frowned. "You openly admitted to adultery." "He can't prove it. He has credit card statements, hotel receipts. You just told me you came home from your boyfriend's house in front of your husband." "So? I'm the primary caregiver, the mother. Courts always. Courts consider the best interests of the children. A mother engaged in an extramarital affair who admits to continuing that affair despite its impact on the family. That doesn't look good." "But I'm a stay-at-home mom. He works constantly." "According to these documents, he's been the primary caregiver for the last 2 months. School pickup, doctor's appointments, extracurriculars. He's documented everything." "That's temporary." "Is it? Because it looks like a pattern, combined with the nanny he's hired to ensure continuity of care. He's making a strong case that he can manage the children's needs. But alimony, child support, he'll have to pay. Illinois is an equitable distribution state. Given the adultery, your employment potential, and his documented caregiving, you might not get what you expect, especially if he can prove dissipation of marital assets on your affair." Dissipation? Money spent on hotels, dinners, gifts for your friend. The court calls it dissipation, and it comes directly out of your share of the marital property. I left her office numb. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I was supposed to have the power, the leverage. The system was supposed to protect me. But Blake had been 10 steps ahead from that first night. While I was flaunting my affair, he was building a case. While I was assuming victory, he was ensuring it. The custody evaluation was brutal. Dr. Mitchell interviewed everyone, me, Blake, the kids, even Marta, the nanny. She visited both homes. Blake had already secured a rental, observed our interactions, reviewed the documentation. "Mrs. Patterson," she said during my interview, "can you explain why you felt continuing your affair was in the best interests of your children? My personal life doesn't affect my parenting." "Doesn't it? You've admitted to being absent during normal family times, coming home late, being distracted. How does that benefit your children?" "Every parent needs personal time." "Of course, but most parents don't use that time to conduct affairs that destabilize their children's home life. The children don't know about the affair." "Children are perceptive, Mrs. Patterson. They know when their parents are unhappy, when their mother is absent, when their father is sleeping in the guest room." I wanted to scream that this was unfair, that fathers had affairs all the time without losing custody, but I couldn't say that without sounding like exactly what I was. A bitter woman who'd gambled her family and lost. The final blow came when Garrett ended things. "This is getting too complicated," he said after I told him about the custody evaluation. "I didn't sign up for this drama." "Drama? You pursued a married woman. What did you expect?" "I expected you to leave your husband like you said you would, not turn this into some custody battle where I might get subpoenaed." "So you're abandoning me?" "I'm protecting myself. Maybe you should have done the same instead of playing chicken with a man who clearly doesn't bluff." He was gone within the week. Moved to a different gym, blocked my number, vanished like smoke. The man I'd risked everything for couldn't even be bothered to stick around for the aftermath. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Blake got primary custody. I got every other weekend and Wednesday dinners. The house had to be sold to divide assets, and after the forensic accountant traced $7,200 in affair-related expenses, my share was smaller than expected. The court finds that Mrs. Patterson's admitted adultery and continued deception created an unstable environment for the minor children, the judge read. While she remains their mother and maintains visitation rights, primary physical custody is awarded to Mr. Patterson, who has demonstrated consistent caregiving and stability. I wanted to scream that it was a setup, that Blake had manipulated the situation, that I'd been trapped. But the truth was uglier. I'd trapped myself. Every arrogant word, every taunting laugh, every moment I'd assumed my position as a mother made me invincible, had built the case against me. Now I sleep on my sister's couch because I can't afford rent on the part-time marketing coordinator salary I managed to land. 10 years out of the workforce doesn't leave many options. Blake, meanwhile, has the kids in a beautiful 4-bedroom rental while the house sells. Marta still helps out, but he's adjusted his schedule to be home by 6 most nights. "Mommy, why can't we live with you?" Olive asked during my last Wednesday dinner visit. "Because Mommy made some mistakes, baby." "What kind of mistakes?" "How do you explain to a 5-year-old that you threw away her family because you thought you were untouchable? That you gambled with her stability and lost because you were too arrogant to fold? Grown-up mistakes. But I love you very much. Daddy says we'll see you on Saturday." "That's right. Can we go to the zoo?" "We'll see." "We can't. Zoo admission for 4 is $60 I don't have. Instead, we'll go to the free park, and I'll push them on swings while calculating how many years until I financially recover from my hubris." Blake drops them off now without speaking to me. Civil but distant. He's dating someone new. A pediatrician named Amelia whom the kids adore. She's everything I'm not. Independent, successful, and smart enough not to mistake financial dependence for power. I see them sometimes at school events. Blake and Amelia looking like the perfect couple with my children. He introduces her as his girlfriend, not their stepmother. Always careful to respect boundaries, always doing the right thing, always one step ahead. "I warned you," Paige says when I rage about the unfairness of it all. "You thought being a mother gave you immunity. But immunity from what? From consequences? From the results of your own choices." She's right, but I can't admit it. Can't admit that I destroyed my life because I was bored and thought I was bulletproof. Can't admit that I handed Blake the ammunition he needed when I laughed in his face and dared him to divorce me. The truth is, I could have had an honest conversation about feeling unfulfilled. Could have gone to therapy. Could have asked to go back to work or school, or anything that would have helped me rediscover myself. Instead, I chose the nuclear option, and then taunted the man holding the detonator. You have 10 new messages, my phone announces. All from various lawyers about the house sale paperwork. My share will be enough to get a small apartment. Start fresh. But fresh at 38 with partial custody and a reputation in Naperville as the woman who lost her kids because she couldn't keep her legs closed. That's not fresh. That's just surviving. I think about that night often. The wine-fueled arrogance, the absolute certainty that Blake couldn't touch me. The way I'd laughed at his pain and told him he was powerless. If I could go back, would I do it differently? Probably not. Because the truth is, I wanted out. I was miserable in my perfect suburban life. But I wanted out on my terms, with my kids and financial security and the moral high ground of being the abandoned wife. Instead, I got what I deserved. Exactly what I dared Blake to give me. A divorce. A complete, thorough, devastating divorce that left me with nothing but Wednesday dinners and every other weekend. Mommy's here. Aaron calls when I pick them up for my Saturday. He's 12 now. Old enough to understand what happened. Old enough to ask questions I can't answer honestly. Hey buddy. Ready for the park? Can't we do something else? We always go to the park. What would you like to do? Dad's taking us to Six Flags next weekend. Maybe we could do something like that. Maybe next time. There won't be a next time. Six Flags is $150 I don't have. But I smile and load them into my 10-year-old Honda, pretending everything's fine. Pretending I'm not calculating gas money. Pretending I didn't lose everything because I thought I was invincible. The playground is crowded with intact families, mothers and fathers pushing children on swings together. The life I had and threw away because I thought I deserved more. Because I thought the rules didn't apply to me. Because I thought being a mother meant I couldn't lose. Push me higher, Mommy. Olive demands from the swing. I push her higher, watching her soar, remembering when I thought I could soar too. When I thought I had wings instead of just delusions. My phone buzzes. Blake texting about pickup time. Businesslike, efficient. The same way he dismantled my life. No emotion, just precision. I respond with equal brevity. This is what we are now. Co-parents who communicate in logistics. A far cry from the marriage we had, flawed as it was. A universe away from the future I imagined when I dared him to divorce me. He called my bluff. I lost everything. And the worst part? I have no one to blame but the arrogant woman who looked her husband in the eye and told him he was powerless. Who confused stability with invincibility. Who thought the title of mother was armor instead of just another word for someone who should have known better. The eviction notice is still in my pocket. Paige can't float me forever. Soon I'll have to figure out how to stand on my own feet for the first time in over a decade. The independence I thought I wanted delivered in the harshest possible package. Time to go. I tell the kids as the sun starts setting. Already? Ella Guains. We just got here. I know, baby, but Daddy's expecting you. We drive back in silence. My children already anticipating returning to their real life. The stable one, the one with their father, who called my bluff and won everything while I lost it all in a bet I never should have made. The dare was simple. Divorce me. I dare you. The response was simpler. Okay. And just like that, my house of cards collapsed. All because I was too arrogant to see I was playing against the house. And the house always wins. Blake knew that mothers don't automatically win anymore. And he understood that power isn't what you think you have. It's what you can prove in court. I pull into Blake's driveway. Amelia's car is there. The kids cheer. She's teaching them to bake, something I never had patience for. They tumble out, already forgetting I exist, running toward their future while I idle in the driveway of my past. Blake appears in the doorway, silhouetted by warm light. He doesn't wave, doesn't acknowledge me beyond ensuring the kids get inside safely. Then the door closes, shutting me out of the life I gambled away. I drive back to Paige's, to my couch, to my consequences. The eviction notice crinkles in my pocket. A reminder that rock bottom has a basement, that daring someone to destroy you might result in exactly that. I thought I was untouchable. Thought being a stay-at-home mom to 3 kids made me bulletproof in divorce court. Thought I could have my affair and keep my life because Blake would never risk losing his children. I was wrong about everything. And now I live with the echo of my own words. You can't divorce me. Turns out he could. He did. And I handed him the blueprint when I dared him to try.